It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
And welcome to the realm of geekdom. This is nerd breaking news. This is going to be the sport podcast because it looks like you guys are loving all of our NBA talk. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the Western Conference right now and how that playoff picture is looking. And let's go straight to our guest, D'Angelo. Tell us, you're over here on the West. What are you looking at?
Ooh, what am I looking at? I think that I'm just gonna double down on the double down on the double down that I doubled down on last week, that I doubled down on last year. You know, the double down. Yeah, I'm gonna double down on and say that OKC is on a red carpet to the finals, in my opinion. I think I made a prediction last week that they probably go. I'm not gonna say they're gonna go. You know, the Los Angeles Lakers 15-1 to the finals. Maybe they win. They lose 2 games. I'm seeing a sweep in there. Maybe first round, second round. I think they're the clear favorite for the West, and I think they're the clear favorite for the championship, in my opinion. So nothing too earth shattering. I know, not so hot takey here. I'm taking the number 1 team, or maybe it is a hot take. Okay.
So what would you say would be like the weaknesses for Oklahoma City? Like what kind of issues they could come across when they face off in the playoffs right now?
Well, I mean, they could, they could run into, Jokic probably in the 3rd round. I think one of their biggest issues is, I'm not even gonna say that because I was gonna say maybe it was gonna be experience, but I feel like last year they took their licks. I think they're ready. I don't honestly don't see much barriers to entry here, if I'm being honest. I mean, if you want to say that, maybe Denver could give them a little bit of run. The Clippers have been playing better. Who knows what the hell we're gonna get from them? I don't see anybody. I'd be more interested in hearing anyone make the other side of this argument because I can't make it right now.
Right. Anybody wants to cover the number 2 Houston Rockets sitting at 47-26?
Here's the problem with, I guess, to answer that question and to go further to what D'Angelo was arguing. First of all, the Rockets are a young team. In contrast to where they were last year, this is a huge improvement. But we were seeing pieces. We were seeing sparks of the Rockets last year. We were seeing the draft picks. We were seeing the free agency they got. So this is a result. This is based on the result of what they've been doing the last 3 years, building this team. They have Green and the free agency, the point guard from Toronto. They were building this team, and so this, it's a little bit of a shock, but not too much of a shock. Going back to D'Angelo's argument, I could absolutely make the argument that OKC is not going to go that far. Absolutely. First and foremost, let's as of the date of the recording of what we're doing today, the Lakers lost, so they are 4th, and so that's the big difference right now. The only difference right now is the Lakers are 4th. Wait, the Lakers. No, so you know what? That doesn't change. No. So even though based on the result of today, it hasn't changed so far yet. So let's go exactly what this picture is saying. If the playoffs ended today, right, then the Lakers will play the Grizzlies. Who do we got there? Lakers. We got the Lakers winning that round. Yeah. Does OKC really want to see? Let's go even further. Play-in tournament. Sorry, Eagle, Kings, no bueno.
It is what it is, man.
The Suns could Kevin Durant. You want to talk about that? That team is washed. Does OKC want to see a healthy Steph Curry who did not play yesterday against the Heat and the Heat destroyed him? No. And they want to see the Ant-Man who the professor has been, giving him his kudos for the last 2 years. Yeah, I can make a legitimate argument that you just said the first round could be either a sweep or close to a sweep. There's no way in hell that OKC plays a healthy GSW and the Ant-Man led T-Wolves, and that doesn't go game 6 or 7. There's no way. First of all, that already does first pop in your argument. The second pop, based on the results, Yoke is going to beat the Clippers. Lakers are going to beat the Grizzlies. The Rockets are most likely going to get upset by 7-8, either Ant-Man or Steph Curry. So look at your second round matchups. It gets dramatically worse for you. You have a potential road of Ant-Man or Steph Curry, Lakers, and Yoke before you get into either the Boston Celtics or, in my world, the New York Knickerbockers. You're going to have to go through a gauntlet to even get to that. So I don't even think you guys – how about this? The second round is where you should have your spider sense of like, okay, just like last year, I don't even think the Western Conference Finals is guaranteed like people do.
Here's my take. Here's my take on it. When you're looking at OKC, because I just looked at the record, when you're looking at OKC, they seem to have a problem with teams that have strong interior defense. Teams that have two big men tend to be the ones that give them a hard time. So when you consider how Jimmy Butler's play looks this year and what he's actually doing, he shifted from a perimeter defender to an interior defender. So when you're looking at Golden State's how they operate their defense, they're pretty good at interior defense unless you have the ability to overwhelm them with size, which OKC actually can't do. So if OKC matches up against Golden State, I'm not going to say they're going to lose, but what I am going to say is
7-footers, right? They run out 2 7-footers. You know that, right? Harkenstein and Chet Holmgren.
So you got basically half. You have 1.5 center. Basically.
Not even that still counts as one because Holmgren weighs less than I do. So the reality of it is, you go.
But no one questions his defense. As a matter of fact, I remember last year before he got injured, he was in the run for Defensive Player of the Year. He was averaging like 3 blocks a game.
He was.
Until eventually we got an eye test correctly done, and we saw that he was not the defensive player.
Harkenstein is tough as nails. They run on 2 7-footers against 6'8" Draymond Green and
you're right.
7 Jimmy Butler. I don't think
you're right. All I'm telling you is what the record shows, and what today's record shows is when you're looking at their 12 losses, they have had a problem with teams that have strong interior defense.
To make that argument with Minnesota better, I mean, Naz Reid and Gobert,
the French guy. Yeah,
we'll get there.
But
so then, when you're looking at Minnesota, we have to be honest about something with Minnesota, and that is that all of a sudden they've turned it on out of nowhere, and folks are like, "How? Why? What happened?" What happened is they realized that they're bigger than everybody else. That's what happened. So when you're looking at Minnesota, is Minnesota some elite unit? No. But are they built in a way that give OKC some problems? Yes. Like they are. I'm not saying OKC will lose, but I'm saying they're going to struggle. And then you have Denver, and we all know about Denver. When you're looking at OKC's route to a championship, they might have to play all 3 of the teams that I just mentioned. So when you're thinking of it, that's murderer's row. And at the same time, we cannot underestimate how cheap of a player Draymond Green is. You know what Draymond's going to do when he's up against Hartenstein? He's going to push him to the ground, and just like he did with Sabonis, he's going to stomp him on the chest. He's going to get away with it. He does it every single playoff series. He will do whatever it takes to knock off your best big and get away with it.
Bro,
so when Hartenstein gets a concussion, he's going to have some problems.
Golden State has no bench. You know how deep? You know OKC could run out their next 5 players and have a starting 5. Like they could run out the whole second team is the starting 5. Like Golden State has no bench. Silly ankle Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. We never know when he's gonna play Jimmy Butler. Like I don't know, bro. That don't sound like me.
Well, let me settle this.
There you go.
Let me settle this for the panel. I think I'm going to side with D'Angelo here, and don't get me wrong. There is a lot to talk about based on what the kid said and what the professor said. Because if you think about the possible teams that they could face in the first or the second round, thinking that they're going to win those series, you have Memphis, you have Houston, and you have Minnesota. Those 3 teams are like top 10 defensive teams in the league. And Mike, that's only defensive, on the defensive end. When you go to the differential, which is the difference between the points scored and the points allowed, they're still in the top 10. So this is no joke teams that we're talking right now. Now, to the kids' point, Houston kind of like a surprise, but at the end of the day, I think that what got that team united was the head coach. The guy that was in Boston, what's his name?
Udoka.
Ime Udoka. There we go. He's a defensive mindset guy, defensive mind coach. Okay, so he brought that energy, he brought that character to the team. Now, listen, they're well positioned on the regular season. Like they're third in the West, I believe, second in the West. There we go. I don't think they go past the first round. I think this is what D'Angelo was saying. Last year was when OKC got the legs, and they got thrown around, and they basically experienced what the NBA playoffs are all about. This is that year for Houston, in my opinion. I think they're gonna experience it, and they're gonna go through the motions, and they're gonna be like, okay, listen, we know what it is about. We got the players, we got the calibers. We can make adjustments and add new players in the off season, and then they're coming in for the next year. So that leaves basically Minnesota, which has the experience. They're coming off a year where they actually went to the conference finals, if I'm not mistaken. And if there's a player in the league aside from Shai who can literally turn it on and can dominate, is that guy in Minnesota, Ant. Okay, so I wouldn't count against them. Now, at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers. Oklahoma City literally destroyed everyone in the regular season. Okay, Shai has been putting up amazing numbers, even though people is criticizing him for the help that he's been getting with the reps and whatnot. I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, because if we go into that, then in certain times, specific players have gotten the whistle, like in their favor. Okay, so it's not like this is the first time that we see this type of behavior from the reps or the NBA pushing for a specific player. They have been playing amazing. They are cohesive. They're young and they're hungry. Okay, 61-12. I don't remember the last time a team won 61 games in the regular season. Maybe we have to go back to what the Phoenix Suns, what they did when Chris
Boston.
Paul
Didn't Boston do it last year?
No, but for the West. I mean the West. On the West.
I think it was the 10 Golden State. I don't know.
There we go. So that's a few years back. So they're dominating the West, and you know how hard that is. A young team, they're hungry. I know Chet has been back from his injury, but he's a killer, and he's a difference maker. And like you said, Isaiah Hartenstein, even though Serge is probably hurt because he chose OKC instead of staying in New York. Okay, so that's.
But they love.
Hey, it's personal for Sergio. Okay, so I understand what he's saying.
He left the Mecca of basketball. It is what it is. That's what happens when you.
They gave him a big contract. You want to give him that money. They didn't want to give him that money.
You rather play with the worst call in the history. We haven't seen these phantom calls since James Harden. This is insane what SGA is doing. SGA putting his shorts on. Foul.
Hold on. To the kid's point, those phantom calls, do they appear in the playoffs? No.
You're getting the regular season calls, by the way. You're not getting the playoff calls. Because look what happened last year when you tried doing that BS in the second round.
Mm-hmm. They take all that away.
And Jay, you said this on the last recording. If we give him the MVP and no phantom calls, you imagine the stress on that man in the second round? Go ahead, bro. Perform. And by the way, look at NBA.com has, right? Going back to the Eagle was saying, look at NBA.com has. According to NBA.com, the playoffs ended today. It will be OKC versus the AC. That's cool. AC right now is the winner of Wolves and Warriors. Butler is 16-4 with Curry and him playing. We know about the battle-tested T-Wolves. And by the way, Angela, I'm agreeing with you. I think they're going to eventually win the first round. I'm just arguing it's not going to be a sweep. That's all I'm saying. There's no way it's going to be a sweep. Second round matchup, Luka and LeBron. Good luck. Because if Luka Doncic gets hot.
Can we discuss that for a second? I feel like we sort of just are just putting that. I know this particular episode is about Western Conference. So can we talk about how you're just so easy to dismiss Memphis and just saying that the Lakers are going to smoke them? Like, that seems a bit premature, my friend. The Lakers got no bench. LeBron, I mean, I've been watching him. I haven't been impressed since he got back.
Yes.
Luka has not been playing well when LeBron's not on the floor.
Well,
it was all high and mighty those first couple of games, and LeBron went out.
They were lucky. They were lucky to win last night in Indiana.
Yeah.
He was too busy doing a podcast in the afternoon instead of practicing for the game.
Right.
We get it. It's not the fact that I'm overlooking Memphis. It's the fact that we have to ask ourselves the bigger question of the Western Conference. And the bigger question is, unfortunately for me, the moneymaker is the LA Lakers, right? Which we all hate the Lakers, except for our beloved TK Williams. The question is, how much faith do we have the Lakers going far this season? That's the question.
I
right?
don't. I have that faith. You seem like you have it more than the rest of us.
I just think because if Luka gets hot like he did last year,
Nothing you can do.
I don't think there's correct. I don't care who it is if he gets hot. And remember, for whatever reason, LeBron's playoff stats they are what they are.
Oh, we got phantom calls in the playoffs. You know,
He
LeBron
gets them, but no one else does.
Yeah, but unlike
he gets
SGA,
those.
unlike SGA, he gets those calls in the playoffs. SGA doesn't get those calls in the playoffs. SGA has to earn them, dude. Like everybody else went through after him, before him.
But I also want to be clear that none of this is SGA hate. Like,
yeah. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. I just think it's let's see what he does. But I like that guy. But going back to what you're saying, I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm not a LeBron fan. But I have to be objective and say, if Luka and these dudes can somewhat give you 3-and-D effort and some type of rebounding, I think if I'm OKC, I'm nervous. I'm not saying that they won't win. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying if Luka gets hot and an inexperienced Thunder team, would you be shocked? You probably would because you're the big OKC guy. But a generic person will probably be like, yeah, I'm not really shocked. Luka Doncic went Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan, and there was nothing OKC could do. Now, if you're a betting man, you probably have OKC. That's smart. That's a smart bet. Right?
Well, here's the thing. Oh man, I mean, here's the thing. It's like D'Angelo was saying, guys. Like this is the playoffs. LeBron is 30 what? 38, 9,
40. He's 40.
Okay. Did he? I don't know. I might be mistaken. Did he go to Germany and got like plasma shots?
If you listen to Stephen A's rant, he does mention that LeBron had an overseas engagement that he had to go to. I think that's what he was alluding to.
Rumors that LeBron allegedly has doped up a little bit, and that the NBA. I've read those in deep.
You saw what he said to Pat McAfee when he asked him about his body. He goes, "The rumor is that you spent $1 million on your body."
Yeah.
But I don't know where that came from. But we have a resident Laker fan. So TK, what do you think about the Lakers' chances?
Rumors are rumors. That's all it is.
Okay. What about the Lakers' chances?
Lakers' chances? I don't know. If you look at the Lakers' number ever since the trade deadline, they've actually turned this team around, and it's a different team than it was at the beginning of the year. Do I think they're going to go too far? Maybe not, but I think that the Lakers are going to be a team that it's going to give a couple of teams a couple of headaches.
As a Laker fan, what team are you more nervous about in the playoffs?
It has to be Denver for me.
Oh, Blastoids?
Yeah, well, Jokic owns them. That's why.
100%. We haven't been able to find an answer. That's the honest truth.
Have nobody on that team. Jokic can score 70 points against the
Lakers. There's nothing we can do, honestly. Like we're willing to throw in a water boy to jump in there and see a miracle strikes or something. Someone, bro. They need to bring back Howard, bro. Even though he's touching people, like he needs to come back.
Wow.
He's playing Jackson Hayes like a child. I mean, like you Dorian Finney-Smith. Like who are these people? Jokic looks at them and laughs. Like, are you kidding me? This guy?
You know the worst thing about it? ESPN. You know the worst thing about it, Angelo? ESPN says that Austin Reeves is the third best option in basketball.
I read that. I laughed so hard.
The third best or the best third?
I disagree with that.
100%. Yeah.
They're basically trying to say the best third option.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to say.
Correct.
But they're also trying to push the idea that if you put Reeves in another team, he'll be your second best option.
Let me tell you what's happening here. What's happening is ESPN knows LeBron's about to retire, and they got to find something to talk about with the Lakers. So they're boosting up Austin Reeves so they can go get some clicks. Everybody knows Austin Reeves is good, but let's not lie. Go ahead.
Bro. ESPN got to stop. ESPN got to stop.
Can we discuss that a little bit, like the third best option? Because I think that's an interesting question. Because
let's go.
With the Lakers?
I would have to toss it up between
overall in the NBA.
Yeah, I would have to toss it up between who you consider the third option on these two different teams. So I would start with Cleveland. Is the third option Mobley or is it Garland? Because either one I would take over Reeves. So that's one. And then on the Knicks, is the third option Anunoby or Karl Anthony Towns? Because I would take both of them over Reeves. So
or Mikal Bridges.
That's what I'm saying. I would take all of those guys over Reeves. So what
It's nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah, but remember, ESPN has to, for whatever reason, is contractually obligated to talk about the Lakers, the Cowboys, and all these people, which is vastly annoying. And once the Lakers lose again, because LeBron can't win without a 6-month bubble, apparently. Once he loses again in the second or maybe first round, I want that to happen. I hope the Grizzlies say, we're eating tonight. We're going to clean these boys up.
I don't get the thought. There it is.
I want that to happen. But once he loses and the Lakers lose, all we're going to hear is, oh, the NBA has no ratings. They need the Lakers. Weren't the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals 3 years ago? And they got swept. And everybody and their mother was like, how the hell did Blastoise destroy us? So again,
with Anthony Davis in that team.
And Anthony Davis has been crying for the last 4 seasons that he should be Defensive Player of the Year. So which one is it?
Well, that's not happening now.
Yeah, it's not happening now. And then the argument is that he wants to come back for the season. Dude, just relax. The Dallas is done.
Tonight.
Like, there you go.
Yeah,
Why?
He had a decent game. I didn't bet him, but I watched it.
Well, I'm assuming he's trying to push for the last spot in the play-in.
And then what? Get mocked by OKC?
Well, doesn't it affect his contract size? What's his contract out? I think it has to do with that, because if he misses too many games, that messes up the accolades, and at the same time, mess up the amount of money he can ask for.
That's true.
Anthony Davis. Now, I think we could now say now he's no longer a Laker, and now that Kyrie, is injury prone and the whole Dallas situation. If this man never wins another ring, and he retires, we're gonna look back at Anthony Davis. I can't speak for you guys, but I'm gonna go back and look at Anthony Davis, going like, man, when he was a Pelican, he was a monster. When he was a Laker, he was disappointing.
Well, I think
that far, but
yeah, I think it's a little too far too.
Look at the difference. Go look at the numbers.
I mean,
look at the numbers.
The Pelicans used to be the Wizards. So when you're looking at it, if you knew your team was gonna go play the Pelicans, were you really afraid for your team? No. They had Anthony Davis. You're like, oh, my team's gonna go in here straight chilling and win anyways. They had the exact same vibe the Pelicans, the Wizards did.
Didn't Anthony Davis years ago beat Dame Lillard in the first round to go to the second round with the Pelicans with Drew Holiday?
Yeah, but was Cousins on that team too?
No, because Cousins got injured before they made that run that year.
Did they have Rondo?
Holiday was on that team, right?
Yeah, he was. They have Rondo too. They had some people on there.
I'm saying that Anthony Davis could have stayed and he could have got another player. He would have done something. That's my argument.
It's the Pelicans, bro.
That's unfortunately why the NBA is in the state they're in, because
totally agree with you.
Because I think, and you guys could disagree if you want or agree. Like, if you actually think about the West and the Eastern Conference, once April gets here and playoffs start, you only have 5 to 6 legitimate teams that are going to win the NBA championship. 5 to 6. And I think that's what hurts the league even more, because some teams are not even playing for that. Some teams are playing for draft picks. Some teams are playing for free.
Remember, it's entertainment, and at this point, we've crossed the Rubicon of any sort of like integrity about teams having striving to be the best. This is just all these games are just fodder for gambling at this point. They're just inventory for gambling. It's just inventory for the sports book at this point. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, right. And it's disheartening because we all love basketball. So it's one of these things where, like, for example, Memphis, right? On paper, they're 44-28. That's a legitimate season for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a shot at winning the title? We can't sit here with a straight face and say that, right? Because of politics, because of the refs, because of the fan base, because whatever argument you want to make with the Grizzlies. And you're like, man, they came back from last year? Awesome. Great. The Clippers, 3 years ago, 4 years ago with the bubble when they were up 3-1 against Luka? That was their prime chance to go against the Western Conference Finals. So
if I'm playing devil's advocate, there's I've heard the argument that the NBA does better. There's actually more fandom when there's dynasties being built. You know, when there's a team that's repeating and chasing the championship, and there's a storyline behind it, the fandom actually goes up. So there's been a lot of parity. There hasn't been a repeat championship in a few years. So I think that I could play devil's advocate, play the other side of that.
And at the same time, to Angelo's point, that is backed up by every single stat you can look up. When you're looking at the peak for the NBA, it really is every single time there's a dominant dynasty going on. At the same time, something that most East Coast folks don't know is that on the West Coast, most of those teams you're looking at, completely irrelevant outside of their own states because of how their TV contracts work. So when you're looking at the West Coast of the NBA, no matter who gets drafted where, there are only two teams that matter, and that's Golden State and the Lakers. And even Golden State, arguably, that's a temporary thing only because Curry's there. Once Curry leaves, it's done again. So when you're looking at the Lakers TV contracts, that's why you always hear so much about what's going on there. Because if you live on the West Coast, you can't really watch any other teams. I would love to watch the Denver Nuggets play, but I can't because they're literally just not on TV. So when you're looking at ratings and parity and all of that, what the NBA needs the dominant Lakers in the West and a dominant team on the East, and to pit those two against each other with storylines. When they can't do that, they lose money every time.
That's the Celtics in the East.
But that's going adverse to what he said. Like, he's saying that there's not enough parity. Like, so what do you?
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, for me, it's more like it gets a little old, right? Like, okay, so the Blazers used to be ballers in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and then early 2000s, and then with Dame Lillard as an APP out for success. That's cool.
Well, listen, before we go, I'm just gonna say this because I can't let this go anymore. The Kings are gonna go on the run.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yep. They're gonna
Who's your
do
point
it.
guard?
We're still looking for him. Yeah, it's probably Markelle Fultz. We're giving him a chance, but we'll see. In the meantime, we're gonna take our chances with Keon Ellis. That's my boy right there. You know, it's not a perfect team. It's a lot of misfits going on. By the way, who is De'Aaron Fox? We don't know. We don't like him. We forgot about him. Yeah,
really? That's terrible.
Yes, no. It's the truth. He wanted to go. He wanted to leave. He did nothing for the franchise.
Why's your anger towards him?
What did he do?
Because he betrayed our franchise. Okay, that's
God.
How?
Because he asked for a trade. That's what he did.
Oh, well, hold on. Rare Kings talk here. Why did he ask for a trade?
Because he didn't trust in the GM and the team or whatever.
Blatty?
No, apparently he trusted Blatty, but he got fired.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could it be that Keegan Murray's not a star? I don't know. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, but that you see, there we go. Personal vendettas going on. Listen, man, I'm just here to tell you all that the Kings are gonna make a run. They're gonna make the play-in. They're gonna win the 2 games. They're gonna be the 8th seed. And we'll see from there. First round exit, maybe, but they're going to the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the thing: in defense of De'Aaron Fox, let's not forget that one.
No, we don't accept that, Professor.
Hold on. He's the one who brought Malik Monk to your team. If he wasn't there, you wouldn't even have Malik Monk right now.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. So you tell your best friend, come play with me, come ball with me. We're gonna do amazing things. And on the 1 year and a half later, he's basically saying, hey, listen, man, this is not for me. I know I told you to come here, but deuces. I'm actually gone.
Okay, that's true. 2, he did bring DeRozan there. He did. He recruited DeRozan.
Another more horrible thing, because he literally how do you say this? He brought out DeMar DeRozan. We've been dying to play with a player like you. If you come here, we're gonna be amazing. And then what happens next? Oh no, I gotta do what's best for me. And it does not include you, DeMar. Okay, stay here. I'm gonna go to San Antonio because I'm from Texas, and I love those people right there. You know, go team me. You know, I love that. I love French fries, and I love Wembanyama. That's what he said.
Hold on.
In Sacramento, I like they don't even want to talk about them there.
We don't talk about we don't talk about him anymore. We don't talk about him anymore. We don't like him. Listen, we don't like his kid, his wife. We don't like any of it.
Jesus.
The wife too. Dang.
Yeah. We're going.
Wow.
But here's the
Wow,
problem. Hold
bro.
on, before we go, but here's the problem though. What do you want me to do with that roster, Eagle? It's a bunch of scrubs.
No. It's horrible. It's horrible. It looks like a Frankenstein. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, just start giving up and just go for a draft pick next year. Like, just rebuild.
Hey, that's the only thing that my GM knows how to do. He drafts well and then he trades them. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, man. Hey, shout out to Halliburton. You were the one.
I mean, I could have sworn. Now, kid, keep me honest here. Didn't we make this same argument a year ago?
I've been saying this. We've been saying this.
I could have sworn. But somebody told me we were wrong.
Well,
hey, could it be me? Hey, could it be me?
Well, to be fair, Professor, like you now recently got off the heat. But before we've been hearing heat propaganda for 3 years.
We're propaganda.
This guy,
Heat culture.
No.
Hold on. Let the record show that you finally went to VisionWorks and it finally works, and you saw that Bam is a scrub. I've been saying Bam is a scrub for years.
No, what you are saying is factually incorrect. I have also been saying that Bam is a scrub for years. I have never defended Bam Adebayo in my life. I don't know where that came from.
Tyler Hero.
What about him?
You were defending Tyler Hero. You were saying he was the baby Steph Curry. You were saying that Duncan Robinson.
I did not say he was a baby Steph Curry. I said he was a baby Devin Booker.
That means he's a scrub. All right, who else we got?
Correct.
Devin Booker's not a scrub, for the record.
But a baby version of him is. The light. It's like saying someone's a baby Paul Pierce. That's not a compliment. It's not.
Well, unless you're Chris Middleton.
Correct. But even then,
like, what are you going to do with these Honda Civics out here, bro?
correct. Tyler Hero is a very good player who can get you 40 points every once in a while and routinely and maybe about 25. Good enough for me.
Not in the playoffs, but yeah.
He could probably do it in the playoffs now.
Would you take Tyler Hero today, or would you take Jordan Poole?
It depends on my roster. What team am I?
No. Another question: is it the Jordan Poole before he got hit or afterwards? Because
Bingo.
Two different Jordan Poole.
Bingo. That's exactly why I asked that question. If I have strong leadership and my coach can punch Jordan Poole in the face, yeah, I'm taking Jordan Poole.
So you're
but
saying,
if we're just messing around and we don't have discipline, absolutely not.
So you're saying with assault, you're taking Jordan Poole?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay. Awesome. There you go. TK, I don't know what you're going to do with that.
Final two teams that you see in the playoffs, guys. Eagle, who you final two?
Oh man, I wish I could say the Sacramento Kings, man. I feel it, but I gotta be objective here. It's not gonna be them. I want to say OKC again because the math, the season that they're having. I want Shai's an amazing player. I want him to get the stardom that he has been grinding for. So you know what? I want OKC in the finals. Are you asking NBA finals or Western Conference finals?
Western Conference. You're two.
Okay, so I can have OKC and Jokic. That would be interesting. You know, I think that would be really good to watch.
OKC and Jokic. Okay, perfect, kid.
GSW and Jokic.
GSW and Oklahoma. D'Angelo.
OKC and Denver.
OKC and Denver. Professor.
Minnesota and Golden State.
Jeez.
Minnesota and Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you if you find those odds right now, you should bet that. If you really feel that way, you could probably get some good money.
That's what I might come back a millionaire. You never know. Hey, call me J Moneybags. Yep.
I got OKC and Lakers in 5. Let's go.
Here we go. Right on schedule.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Whether you are siding with Oklahoma, the Lakers, Houston, let us know in the comments who you're rooting for. Who are your two teams that you're picking in for the Western Conference Finals? Until then, keep your fandom alive and your war drive engaged. Until next time, fellow nerds, this is Nerd Breaking News.